Back. The 40 Days of Love series. We're on day number 5. We're going to recap what happened today, day number 4, and then prep for tomorrow, which is day number 5. I do hope that you're enjoying the series, and I hope that it's making a difference in your marriage. If you have yet to, if you have yet to implement some of the things that we're talking about, today is your day. It is your moment. You can do it. I promise you that you can. You guys let me know where you're chiming in from. Chat with me and let me know who is watching. I'm so glad to have you. Thank you again for joining me from wherever you are joining me. Now, yesterday we prepped day number 4. Love is thoughtful. Excuse me, y'all. I swallowed something, a drink wrong, and it is just settled there. So I apologize. Love is thoughtful. So your dare for today was to contact your spouse sometime during the business of the day. Have no agenda other than asking how he or she is doing and if there is anything you can do for them. Did anybody have a moment to stop what they were doing, call their spouse, and say, "Hey, babe, just thinking about you. You ran across my mind. Is there anything that I can do for you? Something to lighten the load." Anybody? Now, here's the thing about the dares, right? And we talked about this in the very beginning. No matter what you do towards your spouse, they may or may not be receptive to it. That's their choice. It doesn't stop us from doing the dares towards our spouses just because they do not, they don't want to be involved. They're not even supposed to know that you're doing this, right? So I know it can be a little frustrating, especially when you're putting forth effort and you're not receiving anything back. So my suggestion is to keep doing it with faithfulness and fidelity for you. Keep doing it with faithfulness and fidelity for you. Whether they receive it or not really has no bearing on your doing it. We want them to, we hope they do. However, they just may not. They may not trust you. There may be some issues and things that have happened in the past where they're kind of giving you side eye, like maybe you have stopped noticing them, and now all of a sudden you're noticing them, and they're like, "I don't know, something's weird here, something strange." So you have to think about it from their perspective. They just may not be ready. They may not be open. They may be suspect. So, keep going with that in mind, but keep going. Every day you get closer to being a different you. And if by some chance they receive it, praise God, right? Because at the end of the 40 days, somebody's going to be different. Something's going to be different. Even if your marriage is not, because thank you, Holy Spirit, even if your marriage is not saved, and we hope that they all are, but even if your marriage does not survive this, I promise you, if you give this everything you have, you will be different in 40 days. It takes 21 days to form a habit. If you do this for 40 days, you're almost at 42 days, which would be double the habit, right? I am going to get myself in the habit of serving my spouse. I'm going to get myself in the habit of being selfless. I'm going to of becoming thoughtful. I'm going to get myself in the habit of watching my words. All of this is really for you. They just benefit from all the things that you're learning as you go through. But it's up to you, because we can read the book and we can come and listen to me all day, every day. But if you don't apply what you're learning, nothing will ever change. It's just one more book you read. It's more time that you wasted. So here's my suggestion, and I would say this for real. Don't waste your time over here with me. Please, 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 please don't waste your time. Take what you're learning and apply it. I really can't wait until the Lord blesses me to be able to have a spouse. I'm going to love my spouse. I'm going to love that man with everything I got. Do you hear me? It's been a long time. And I can't wait to have somebody to love and somebody that wants it. So I'm encouraging all of you who do have that already, or you got something, remember why you said I do. Remember why you said yes, and get back to that. Okay. All right. We're moving on. Again, Thank y'all for joining me. And I apologize. I swallowed some water wrong. And it is not acting right. But tomorrow is day 5. Love is not rude. Your source verses for tomorrow are Proverbs 27:14, 1 John 1:8, Romans 12:18, Matthew 18:21 through 22, and James 5:16. Love is not rude, or day number 5 is an apology day, right? It is a day that is earmarked as apology. Proverbs 27:14 says, he who blesses his friend with a loud voice early in the morning, it will be reckoned a curse to him. Now, I was like, let me read that verse again. So say Saturday is the only day you get to sleep in. It's the only day. You got to work 5 days a week. You got church on Sunday. So Saturday is your moment. And you are, I mean, let me tell you, when you went to bed Friday night, you was looking forward to sleeping in till at least 9 o'clock. Well, 6:30 in the morning, especially in the summertime, your neighbor is out there and the only thing you hear is that lawnmower. And it is loud. And you cannot believe on the one day that you decided to sleep in, your neighbor got to cut his grass. We live in the South, y'all. It be hot down here in the summertime. And them neighbors be out there early in the morning cutting their grass before it get too hot. Hey, ma'am, good to see both of y'all. And but it's rude, right? That's why neighborhoods have noise ordinances. You are in your neighborhood and people partying 11 and 12 and 1 and 2 o'clock in the morning. No, not here. We have a noise ordinance. And at 11 o'clock, all things need to cease. Because if not, you're being rude to the people around you. I'm trying to sleep. I work a job. I got to get up in the morning. I know you don't have to work, but I do. So you're not going to disturb my peace with all of this noise. That's why those types of things exist, right? He who blesses a friend with a loud voice early in the morning, it will be reckoned a curse to him. Here's the thing that he says on page 21, if you're following the book: nothing irritates others as quickly as being rude. Being rude is not necessary. It's so unnecessary. Why do you have to be rude? Now, I will say this because I need to say it early and upfront. Depending on where you're from, people can assume that you're being rude when you're not. How do you know that, Shakima? I'm from New York. I'm from Brooklyn, New York. New Yorkers are loud. We are just loud. That is how it is. In the South, people are more quiet. They're more mindful, more demure. You know, we ain't demure in New York. That's not how it is. And we don't mean nothing by it. It's just the vernacular. It's the language. It's the whole atmosphere. Things move quickly in the city. You got to get to the bus. You got to get to the train. You walking somewhere. You just, things are happening very quickly. Here, life is slow. So when we're moving around doing all the things, people may not understand. So you got to look at culture. You have to look at geography, right? Culture and geography are very different, and you don't want to misinterpret that person. So study to understand who they are, where they're from. I have one aunt. She is the loveliest person ever in life, but she's loud. And I say, Aunt Fran, you're loud. She's like, well, I'm not trying to be loud. Loudly. She's telling. And I'm like, Lord have mercy. Everybody thinks she's yelling at them, and she's really not. So I'm not saying that we have to lean into the culture or the geography. I'm just saying sometimes we need to seek to understand, right, that the person is not being rude. But you do have people that are absolutely rude. Can I tell you one of my pet peeves, especially for married couples? I'm going to tell you anyway, and you're welcome. One of my biggest pet peeves for married people is to see a wife demean her husband in public, to emasculate her man in public, to argue with her man in public. She is giving him what for and the business. And that man is so like, what is going on right now? Or he's cowering down. He's trying to save face, right? What she has done with that behavior is she has now let everybody know I'm in charge. I make the rules. I set the standard in this household. And her husband goes from being the head to being under her. That right there is, to me, like a cardinal sin. Do not ever, in my presence, talk to your husband crazy. Please, because I don't have one. And I would give anything, well, almost anything. I would love to have one, but I wouldn't talk to him crazy. Not in front of people. That does not mean, let me qualify. That doesn't mean that y'all might not have heated fellowship or discussion later. We're going to discuss this at home in private, not even in front of your children. Don't argue in front of your children. Don't make your husband seem like he's not a man in front of your children. That will scar and damage those people forever. I promise you. And you will see that behavior repeated in your daughters and your sons. Your sons will then cower to their wives, and your daughters will dominate their husbands. Please, please, please do not do that to your children. The things we do without even knowing it, or without even really being mindful of it, have such far-reaching consequences later on down the line. And if I were you, I would go back and reflect and evaluate my behavior, my actions towards my spouse, right? Well, he don't treat me with respect. We ain't talking about him. We ain't talking about her. We talking about you. What do you do? Right? He says, rudeness is unnecessarily saying or doing things that are unpleasant for another person to be around. This can be language, right? A lot of people just use foul language. This is how we talk. Well, please don't speak this language here. I don't appreciate it. I remember one time, again, my ex-husband had called me on the phone and he was cussing me up one and down the other. And I said to him, if you say one more cuss word, the next sound you will hear will be a dial tone, because I'm hanging up this phone. You're not going to be rude to me. We're having a discussion. We have to discuss these kids. We ain't friends. I get it. But we got to discuss these kids intelligibly. We're not about to be up here arguing at each other like we don't have any good sense, like we wasn't married, like we didn't fall in love at one point. Now we ain't in love right now, but we can at least co-parent, right? You're going to speak to me respectfully, and I'm going to speak back to you respectfully, because that's just the right thing to do. That's the right thing to do. I don't like them. Nobody's asking you to like them. We ain't asking you to love them either. We're just saying to treat others with respect, and that is what I expect in return, right? Okay, amen. He talked about, he gave some examples. This could be foul mouth or language, poor table manners. Have you ever been with somebody that you just can't take nowhere? You just can't take some folks places. They chewing all loud. They ordering everything on the menu. Like, somebody else is paying. Let's be in a budget here. I get it that they're treating you, but you don't have to order one of everything. Do you know that if somebody's treating me out to a meal, I don't ever order an appetizer? Never. I'm going to get the meal and that's it. If they want an appetizer, that's perfectly fine. If they invite me to have some or share, that's perfectly fine. But I'm never going to order an appetizer if somebody else is treating me out to a meal. Dessert either. It's just not what I'm doing. Because I want to be mindful of their finances. Well, they invited me. I can spend what I want. That's somebody else's coins. You don't understand what they did or how hard they worked to earn it. So why not just go middle of the road, get you a nice meal, middle of the road, not the lowest, not the highest, and be thankful, because if you do that, they may invite you again. Just a thought. Okay. He said this and I thought it was good. He said, rude behavior seems insignificant to the person who is doing the behavior, but to the person that's receiving it. Have you ever thought about how the person receives what you're saying? When you're cussing somebody up one and down the other, have you thought about how they're receiving it? Do you know that when you start lambasting people, we go from being this tall to feeling this little? Like, my God, the way you talking to me don't make me feel no better than a dog. I mean, the way you just came at me out of left field. I didn't even see you coming. And the way you made me feel like I was on top of the world, and then here you come. And now I'm this small. I see it a lot on social media, especially between husbands and wives. All these little memes and skits and all the things. Y'all, let me tell you something. This stuff has far reaching consequences, because after those cameras go off and after your 15 minutes of 15 seconds of fame, because that's about how long people watching that stuff, your husband or wife is going to go back and ponder what you just said, what you just did. Hey, ma'am, good to see you. And they're not going to be an appreciation of that behavior towards them. And sometimes people don't always forget. They have long memories. The Bible does tell us in 1 Corinthians 13 that love doesn't remember a wrong done, but that's for believers. Everybody don't believe the same thing you believe. And some people gonna hold on to that stuff. And when you least expect it, they're gonna come back at you. Is it necessary to be rude? Here's another thing that I think is extremely rude. Now, this is just me. This ain't y'all. And I know y'all probably better than I am. So just thank the Lord for you being you and not me. But if you have a spouse and you have children, or they have children, and their children treat the non-parental spouse rude, talking to them any type of way, no respect on their name, all that kind of stuff, that right there, I'm telling you, that's right up there with the wife and the husband thing for me. Because those people decided to come into your life, right? They decided to join your life with your kids. It would behoove you and your kids to treat them with respect, to treat them with kindness. The man is asking the kids to do something, a reasonable request. Would you mind taking out the trash? Talking to them with good, like they got good sense. Hey, do you mind helping your mom by taking out the trash? I don't have to take out no trash. What? Excuse me? And the mom just co-signing it. He ain't got to do it. I'll do it later. Ma'am, you have just demeaned your husband. And you just told your child that they can be rude to the man that has joined your life and trying to make things better for you. It's just not, it's not necessary. It's very uncalled for. And at some point, if we allow behaviors to keep going, you are going to find yourself without that spouse and with them kids, the same way you was before he came in. But that's none of my business. Okay, I'm moving on. When you think about love, right? Because the title of day 5, which is tomorrow, is Love is Not Rude. Love is not rude. Love always extends itself outward. Love always tries to make things better. Love always pays the extra. Love always considers the other. Love always denies myself. Love always says it's more for you and not for me. And love is not rude. It's just not. It doesn't matter what you've seen pattern before. If your pattern of marriage is rude, you need to get a new pattern. If you're watching somebody's marriage, be careful whose marriage you follow. Because again, we all look good on our 15 seconds of a reel, a TikTok. I tell people all the time, I'm in social media. We clip out all the stuff we don't want you to see. And then we splice it together and you just see all the good stuff. You didn't see the kids walking through and the music loud and people just yelling all. You didn't see any of that because we're skilled at clipping all that stuff out. And we just let you see what we want you to see. So don't go patterning your marriage after somebody who you think is doing it right, because you don't know what's going on behind the scenes. You don't know who's getting yelled at. You don't know who's not being treated appropriately. Here's another rude thing. This is for the men. Say you're in some type of a space. I don't know. You could be in some type of, you could be at church, you could be at work, you could be at a function, some type of a function, and a woman comes up to you, talking to you all skinning and grinning up in your face, and your wife is standing there, and you never say, "Excuse me, this is my wife." You never introduce. You never cut that off. You never give wifey, permission to check a sister. Rude. This is what I pray, y'all pray for me, because I got some wild stuff out here. I pray that no matter what room my husband is in, and it could be full of women, I don't care, but when I walk in, he knows I'm there. He senses my presence, and he stops all conversations to come get me. Excuse me, my wife just got here, and he come get me. So I can walk on your arm so everybody up in here can know who's with who and who's leaving with who. See, we don't necessarily always keep our person at the forefront of our minds, and that can harm us later. Because when I don't feel cared for, when I don't feel respected, when your husband says, "Hey, babe, it's time to go," or "We've been here long enough, we got stuff to get ready for tomorrow, but you still want to stay at the party," okay, keep doing that a few times and see what that'll get you. No. Hey, y'all, we thank y'all so much for inviting us. We appreciate it. We got to get these kids to bed. We got to get ready for work tomorrow. We'll see y'all on the next time. Pack it up and move it out, sister. That's what it is. Respect that man and his word and his authority. And see, here's what we miss. And I get it. We got these reverse gender roles and all this stuff. I'm not into reverse gender roles. My grandfather was the husband. My grandmother was the wife. And that's just how I was raised, right? But here's the authority of the person, the chief authority of your home. And my question is, where they do that at? You learned it from somewhere, and I'm not going to put it off on your parents and say you learned it from your parents, because you probably learned it from TV, some kind of social media or something. You learned it from somewhere. So that becomes the question. Where did you learn this? Where did you pick this habit up? Because this is not something that was taught to you. Okay, I'm going to move on. Here's the thing. He says, when a man is driven by love, he intentionally behaves in a way that's more pleasant for his wife to be around. If a woman desires to love her husband, she purposefully avoids things that frustrate him or cause him discomfort. Anything that frustrates or discomforts your husband, if you love him, you will not do it. If you know that he gets frustrated by the house being unclean, you will clean the house. I look at all these people on social media with me, and their houses looking tore up. Their houses look tore up, and they look like they ain't took a bath in weeks. But they got a man. And I'm over here like bathing every day and cleaning the house, and I'm over here by myself with the dog. What is going on? What is the secret that I don't know? But again, the things that frustrate him, the things that causes stress to his life. You hear men all the time say a woman needs to be my peace. Now, I don't believe that a person can be your peace. I think that you have to get the peace that surpasses all understanding that come from Jesus. And I do think a person can guard your peace. They can join your peace. They can bring mellowness and not cause this disruption and chaos. I don't think that when I show up, you should now be in peace. You should be in peace before I get here. Just based on your relationship with the Lord, right? But I do believe that we can bring calm to a situation, especially if you know this is one thing that frustrates your spouse. Stop doing it. Or at least if you can't figure out how to stop doing it at one time, one thing at a time. Another thing that's rude, sarcasm. Sarcasm as those quick wit, I'm a quick witted person, but sarcasm can tear a person to shreds. It's funny, especially when it's in a group of people. Oh, it's hilarious. But think about the person that's being torn down. That right there has such far-reaching consequences that you won't even be able to see it until it's too late. I'm just trying to put you up on game to help y'all, because there are too many people out here eyeballing your spouse, waiting for you to mess up so they can swoop in. But that's none of my business. Genuine love minds its manners. He says that's the bottom line. Good manners express to your wife or husband, I value you enough to exercise some self-control around you. This is what we're saying when we are minding our manners. I value you enough to exercise some self-control around you. I want to be the person who's a pleasure to be with. Can your spouse, this was a question that they asked in the book, can your spouse absolutely say 100% that they enjoy being around you? Now, here's the truth. Some of us are married and some of us are happily married, right? Some people are married to their best friend. We riding or dying. It's you and me, boo. It's you and me. Ride or die till the wheels fall off. And some people are married, but they want to have their best friend be somebody else because they don't like you, right? I watch a lot of. I'm not different from anybody else. So I watch these little reels, and there's this one guy. I just watch him, Trill AC, because he talks right, in my opinion. He said, "Your person, right? They're not gonna treat you any type of way. You just not gonna ignore me. You're not gonna choose somebody else over me. It's me and you. But that's if they enjoy your company, because sometimes they don't enjoy your company. But then you got to ask yourself why. Here's another thing, and I don't mean to be all up in your business or your clothes, but personal hygiene. Some of y'all, some of us, I don't want to make it about y'all, don't have personal hygiene habits that are pleasing. Some of us don't bathe. Some of y'all don't bathe. Some people do not bathe, and you don't smell good. So now you want me to be all up under you, smelling this? No, I'm not. That's rude. It is rude to bring your personal body odor into my space. It's just rude. And don't go in there and spray on nothing, trying to cover it up. Get your behind. Never mind. And y'all come in. I'm sorry. I'm trying to figure it out. But listen, if you don't know how to what to wear or how to do it, find some friends. Y'all, it's plenty of stuff here on these little social media things that can tell you everything you want to know. You don't know how to keep your personal hygiene as a woman. You don't know how to balance your pH. It's all kinds of stuff. All you got to do is look it up, how to balance pH. And I tell you, you're going to get 743 videos immediately. Immediately on how to do whatever. If your husband feet stink, he smell like corn chips, them shoes, listen, you ain't got to tell him about it. He already know. But what you could do is just help him out some type of a way. I don't know, send him a reels. I don't know. Or maybe you could take care of it for him. I don't know how to fix it. But you don't have to be rude. You stink. Where you been? You smell bad. He knows. Right? Maybe you want to take a shower together. I know you're going to have to mind it for a few minutes. But I mean, something. You got to make it so it's not hurtful to the person, right? Because it can be hurtful. And we don't want to be hurtful. I'm going to move on. If you don't let love motivate you to make some needed changes in your behavior, you will unnecessarily limit the quality and enjoyment level of your marriage relationship. The more respectful and honorable your behavior, the more attractive and romantically appealing you become to your spouse. If the romance is dead, check your words. If the romance is gone, check your behavior. If the romance is gone, check your attitude, because sometimes your attitude is just stank. And I don't want to be around you. But notice the people, the couples that are so in love, they all over each other. Honey, I just pray that my honeymoon never ends. When the Lord, I'm 50 years. I said, God, give me 50, give me 150. Because I'm going to be in love with my spouse. Yes, we holding hands. Yes, we cuddling. Yes, we smooching. All the things. Yes, this is my man, my man, my man. Yes, I am. God, I crack myself up. Y'all pray for me. But the more pleasing you are, that he want to come home. That's the thing, right? When you notice that your man is spending more and more time outside the house, check what's going on in the house. Because a man who is getting treated right, or a woman, I don't want to make this just about a man, but a man or a woman who is getting treated right at the house. Look, Trill AC. He said, when your woman call you and everything is good at the house, you got to tell your homies, look, homie, I got to go. They waiting on me. When the atmosphere is conducive for love and attention and affection and all of the things, they want to get home. When your person is spending more time outside of the house, check the atmosphere of the house. And ladies, I hate to say this, but this is how I learned it and what I grew up with. The home is your responsibility. What happens on the inside, that presence, that state of mind, that ambiance, that atmosphere, we set that. Hearth and home is in our hands. The man is taking care of all the stuff on the outside. I ain't cutting grass, but I will come up in here and put a few candles on, make sure the floor is steam mopped, the dishes are done, and the bathroom is clean. That's my job. And I set that atmosphere in my home. I've had people, this is not bragging on me, I'm just telling you what I've had people say. I've had people walk in my front door and they say, Shakeem, it's so peaceful here, because I can't stand chaos and duress. I grew up in a very loud household. My grandparents argued every day for 50 years. Every day they argued. And then on Friday nights, people was throwing stuff and fighting and all. So I grew up in chaos. And I determined when I was going to have a home, it was going to be peace. Even to the fact, and my kids probably hate me right now. I pray they forgive though. But when my children were small and people would give them gifts, if those gifts made noise, they had to stay at their house. I'm sorry, we don't do noisy toys in our house because I couldn't process all that noise in my space because I came from a space like that. So I determined, and I'm not saying we don't have fun, we do, but I couldn't handle all that. It was just a lot. So I determined what was going to happen in my home. Just because your home was loud don't mean, I mean, when you grew up doesn't mean where you live now has to be the same. Some things we learned were good and some things we learned were not. Take the good stuff and turn it into your stuff. So what does the home atmosphere look like? Can he come home and have an hour to decompress and just sit? He's been at work all day. And I know you have too. So it's give and take. I get it. This is why I tell young people, when you get married, don't have kids for 3 years. Don't have children for 3 years. I'm not saying don't practice how to have them, but don't have them for 3 years. You and they got to get to know each other. Y'all got to get the rhythm of the things going on before you start adding people. That's all I'm saying. All right, I'm going to move on. Okay. Proverbs 25:24 says, better to live in a corner of a roof than share a house with a quarrelsome wife. Are you quarrelsome? Are you always causing problems? Do you always have a word back? Do you always have to have the last word? Listen, nobody want to hear none of that. It doesn't mean, again, let me qualify. It does not mean that you will not have a healthy, you may have to have some healthy discussions. You may have to have some courageous conversations. You may have to have some heated emotional discussions, and that's fine. But we all need to practice rules of engagement. There are rules of engagement. I'm not going to be rude. I'm not going to cuss. I'm not going to throw stuff up in your face. That was whatever your rules of engagement are. And maybe if you don't have those, you should. When we sit down to discuss, this is what we agree on. Nobody gets up and walks out the room. We're not going to bed mad. Whatever your rules of engagement are, because sometimes you have to have that. But if all you do is nag, 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 he is going up on the roof and not coming down. Period. Well, Shakima, how do you know? I was married before. And I wasn't married right, y'all. The hardest lesson I ever had to learn. It was hard, but it was good, right? The hardest lesson I ever had to learn is the marriage breakup was not just my ex-husband. It wasn't just his fault. I played my part. Something about me played a role in that. So I couldn't just lay that at his doorstep. I had to take mine. I had to eat my part. And then I got my hand on resources and tools. And I began to learn what a real wife should be like. And I've been practicing for the last 16 years. Waiting. Right? If I had practiced before, I might still be married. I don't know. But I didn't. So I've learned from my mistakes. And what I'm doing now is I'm putting into play all the things that I want to see come in my next marriage, my last one. Here's the thing. He says, men especially need to learn this important lesson about manners. It is unloving to our wives to treat them like one of the guys. We are not your pal. Doesn't mean we can't be your best friend, but we not one of the dudes. We not a dude. Rather than as a lady, we have chosen to love and to prize all above all others. There's a guy I just started his name. I just see a reel. He was talking about today how 14 bags, carrying in the groceries and all the things. And he barely on. He said, my wife doesn't touch grocery bags. He says, and I'm teaching my sons that their mom doesn't touch grocery bags. She is the prize. She is the queen. Now, does that mean that all of us can get a man that wants to carry our grocery bags? Probably not. But he is esteeming this woman. She not just one of his homies. No, I'm taking care. I'm reverently taking care of this woman that I chose to love, right? Who is the right person for us? It's the person we choose. Now, you may not think they're right for me, but I chose them. I know what they make me feel like when we're together. You don't get to choose. So there is no right person. It's the one I chose. Prayerfully, you had, Holy Spirit tell you what to do. I mean, you talk to the Lord about it if you're a believer. Not everybody's a believer. So I can't come at everybody from that angle. That's how I would come, right? Lord, are you sure? Lord, is this it? Lord, help me out. And I choose. But you chose me, and you chose me when I was in my softness. You chose me when I was in my feminine. So after we get married, don't treat me like I'm in my masculine. Keep me in my feminine. That's the big thing now. Oh, you got masculine energy. Are you treating me femininely? Are you doing the things so that I see your masculine and mine don't have to come out? Those types of things. Okay, I'm gonna move on. A husband shows great strength when he honors his wife by practicing self-control rather than doing whatever he feels compelled to do. The Bible says, this is Psalms 112:5. It is well with the man who is gracious. A man of discretion will find out what is appropriate, then adjust his behavior accordingly. He says this: the two main reasons that people are rude is ignorance, you just don't know, and self-centeredness, it's all about you. Remember, we talked about being selfish, right? So the two main reasons is ignorance, you just didn't know. There are certain things growing up in my culture, in my household, I did not know. When I came out of my grandparents' house and graduated college and all those things, and I was in these professional settings that I'd never been in before, I had to sit and watch other people. Before I picked up a fork, I watched everybody else to see which one was the salad fork. We didn't have salad forks at our house. We just had a fork. We didn't do the table setting and the napkin on your lap. I just had to learn. So you can't stay ignorant. There's too many resources out here now for people to stay ignorant, right? Learn. Well, I don't want nobody to know. Put your phone on the lowest setting of brightness, pull up a YouTube video and find whatever you need to find, because you can find it there. But ignorance can no longer be the excuse of why you're not changing your behavior. And self-centeredness, we already talked about that. That's selfish, and it's not acceptable in a marriage. You didn't marry you married them. The Bible says, and the two now shall become one. So it's not just about you, it's about them as well. Again, this is my list of what I can deal with. This is your list of what you can deal with. Now let's come together and make a list that we both can be happy with. And everything that don't make the list, put it out. Nope. That's not on our list. And that's what's going to make a marriage work. I'm going to move on. Here's some questions he said to ask. Ask yourself this: how does your spouse feel about the way you speak and act around them? How? Here's another thing that's totally rude. If there are a bunch of men, say y'all having a backyard barbecue or something like that, or maybe it's a family gathering, family reunion, I don't know. People you don't even know, it's a bunch of men around, for the woman to be, one woman to be over there with all the men. That's just rude. First of all, there's nobody around here that looks like you. Go find your people. Second of all, they're probably having some type of conversation that they don't want you in on anyway. Go find your people. Now, am I saying that we have to stay separate? No, I'm not. But I'm saying if you find yourself the only one, y'all remember the movie Tyler Perry's Why Did I Get Married? When the women was in the kitchen and that one girl, Trina, was in there with all the men and whatever her name was, the one who drank all the time. She said, no, you coming in here with us. Trina, you want to come help? No, I'm good. No, you coming in here with us. You know what I'm saying? Because it's absolutely rude. It's rude to see somebody do all the serving and you never jump in to help. That's rude. You can at the very least offer. If I say, no, thank you, I don't need any help, I'm good, then hey, at least you offered, right? Extend that same courtesy to your spouse. Okay, the second question was, how does your behavior affect your mate's sense of worth and self-esteem? When you start cussing them up one and down the other, I promise you, they go from feeling this big to this small. How about this? They got a promotion at work. They got a raise. They had some type of a celebratory thing, and you don't even acknowledge it. Yeah, well, okay. You better celebrate that man or that woman. Celebrate them like they just won the Super Bowl or something. Because what you don't do, somebody else will. Well, Shakima, that's not true. They said they were gonna love me forever. Yeah, till they forever ran out. Third thing, would your husband or wife say you're a blessing or that you're condescending and embarrassing? Have you ever been? Now, this is one thing I think that didn't really hurt my feelings until afterwards. But this is the gospel truth. My aunt's on here. She probably don't even know this. Aunt Fran, if you don't know this, it's fine. I'm glad you don't. But my husband was embarrassed about me. He was just embarrassed. I dress up a lot. I don't really like to dress down. I don't really have a lot of casual clothes. I'm a school teacher. I'm a pastor. I'm always in some type of a professional setting. I do have jeans, but I don't prefer those. I just prefer to wear something nice. And he was embarrassed because I never dressed down. And he would just ask, "Do you have any regular clothes?" Well, I feel regular. I felt real regular in what I had on, but or if there was something I didn't know because he grew up in a very different household situation than I did, and if I didn't have that prior knowledge, I was ignorant of a thing. He was embarrassed because I didn't know. Well, did you try to help me? Did you teach me? Did you tell me? Did you prep me ahead? Listen, if you're going to a place that your spouse has never been before and there's specific etiquette that has to be there at that particular place, why don't you prep them ahead? Don't prep them like they're stupid, but just prep them ahead. We're going to this 5-star restaurant and this is what you're going to see. This is what you're going to see. When we went last time, this is what happened. Just kind of throw it in there a little bit so they don't feel kind of awkward. Right? Nobody wants to go to a place and not feel comfortable. Prep them ahead. Love them enough to let them know what's coming. It's my opinion. I'm sure. So ask yourself those questions. What would your spouse say if you were to ask your spouse those things? Here's what he says. If you're thinking that your spouse, not you, is the only one who needs work in this area, you're likely suffering from an undiagnosed case of ignorance with the secondary condition of self-centeredness. Remember, love is not rude, but lifts you to a higher standard. It's not all them. I want to blame my ex-husband. Yes, he did this, and yes, he did that, and yes, he left me, and yes, and yes, and yes. But why did he leave? What was it that I didn't do, didn't fulfill, didn't, I don't know. I have my answers. But at that moment, I wasn't thinking. It was all him. No, it was both of us. And the truth be told, we should have never got married. Then we wouldn't have had any of these problems. But we had a reason for getting married. I was trying to get away from my stuff. He was trying to get away from his stuff, and we just was delusional together. 18 years worth. 3 kids later. Right? So it's not just them. Remember what I said in the very beginning. This study is supposed to help you grow. As you extend towards your spouse, everything you're learning, you should be applying. And as I apply, things change. Y'all see these dark circles around my eye? I just went to Dollar General and got me some concealer. As I apply the lighter concealer around the darker pigments of my eyes, my eye color should change. It should lighten up to match the color of the concealer, right? But it's not going to change if I don't ever put it on. I got to put it on for you to see the visible change. You got to apply this stuff that you're extending towards your spouse so that you can see the visible change. You hope to see a visible change in him, but can you say you look in the mirror every day and see a change in you? I'm always looking for something different. I'm always looking to be better. I'm always looking to grow. I'm always looking. Did I say too much? Did I talk too much? Did I watch my words? Was I kind when I'm always self-reflecting and evaluating Shakima. Well, he don't never self-reflect. That we ain't talking about them. We talking about you. This is about you. This is about what I'm doing. Here are three 3 guiding principles when it comes to practicing etiquette in your marriage, right? You will have to practice some etiquette. Guard the golden rule. Treat your mate the same way you want to be treated, according to Luke 6:31. Treat them how you want them to treat you. Here's the thing. I remember a time, and I'm not going to be before y'all very long. I'm about to be done so we can go over there. But I remember a time, yes, ma'am, he was. There was a time when I was going to leave my husband for the first time. Now, I left him 3 times. I was going to leave him for the first time. And I remember leaving that place, and 2 ladies that I didn't even really know. I just found a new church. I didn't really know them from anywhere. Felt the unction to come and pray with me. They said, well, can we pray with you before you leave? Because they knew something was wrong. And they prayed. And in that prayer, the Lord said to me, love him like I love him. Because I was trying to love him the way I wanted to. And God said, love him the way I love him. And it changed something for me. Immediately, it was a change. Because I leaned in to what the Lord had to say. And I began from that moment forward to watch, to listen, to check, to be mindful. Not to walk around on eggshells. That's not what I was doing. But I was adjusting Shakima. I will say that it really was a little bit too late at that point. It was just a tiny bit too late. Or maybe we had a couple good years there. But at some point, it just got to be too much for him. And that's why he decided to exit. And I get it. Not everybody is set up for the responsibility of the family. And that's unfortunate. That's why a lot of single parents are existing right now, because somebody was not set up for the structure of the family. They did not have enough bandwidth or capacity to hold it. So before us single people, before we start trying to look and grab out to everybody, we need to make sure that we have capacity. And when we meet them, they have capacity. Yes, ma'am, Aunt Fran, I'm reading The Love Dare. It's the Love Dare book by the Kendrick brothers. It's called The Love Dare. You can find it on Amazon. And if you don't have can't get it right now, you can go to Google and Google The Love Dare PDF, and you'll see the whole book just pop up. Somebody scanned it or something. I don't know. It wasn't me. The second thing, no double standards. Be considerate to your spouse as you are to strangers, friends, and coworkers. What's good for you is good for them. Right? There's no double standard. You don't treat somebody else better than you treat your man. Listen, if I'm going to make a plate for Bob, who's at this house, right? My husband gets his plate first. Babe, I'm going to serve you, and then I'm going to serve these other people. You don't bypass the channels and serve everybody, and then unless he's helping serve, unless he's cooking, unless he says, nah, baby, you go ahead and you take care of everybody else, and I got me. But you check with your man first. We bypass channels, and then we have problems. The last thing, honor requests. Consider what your husband or wife has already asked you to do or not do, and if you don't know, ask them. I was thinking about, I post a lot of clothing videos and stuff. Like I'm always showing, somebody's always sending me some clothes to review. When I accept stuff, I have to think about, will this honor my husband? When he comes into my life, will this honor my husband? Am I showing too much skin? Because he's going to have to answer for everything I did when I'm with him and before he got here. So am I doing the right things? Perhaps you're going to a party. You and your husband have been invited. You want to say, hey, babe, you like this outfit? If it's a little too revealing or too short on the back end, and he say, you know what, babe, I just don't know if that's the right thing for you. Say, okay, what would you, give me some suggestions. What would you, doesn't mean he gets to totally change the outfit, but at least you're going to be mindful of what he would prefer. Not every man wants other men Googling at their wife or at their woman, okay? So just be courteous and honor what he asks. If you go out with the girls and he says, hey, I don't mind you going out with the girls, but can you be home by 7 to help me with getting these kids to bed? Don't come home at 9:30 and say, oh, we got caught up. He asked you. He let you go. He let you go. But I'm saying he was okay with you going, but he said, hey, if you don't mind, can you just be back by a certain time so we can do this thing together? Like, don't change our night routine just because you over here doing this. I understand you need your time, you need your moments, but we trying to do a thing right here. So can you just, right? Same thing with the wives. If the wives allow, we're okay with the guys going out the guys' night or whatever the case is, can you just be mindful? Hey, the only thing I'm asking is to let me know when you get on the road just so I'm not worried. Kind of just give me your ETA or whatever, and then you don't never call. She up all night worrying about you. You went to a late overnight, a late function, and you drove back and it's a long time and she don't know nothing. Come on, be considerate. I'm gonna go. Here's your dare for tomorrow. Tomorrow, day 5, love is not rude. Ask your spouse. Now, this is gonna be hard for some of y'all, okay? But I ain't got no spouse right now, guys. Oh, Jesus. I want to be you tomorrow. Okay, ask your spouse to tell you 3 things that cause him or her to be uncomfortable or irritated with you. 3 things. Not a laundry list, just 3. You must do so without attacking them or justifying your behavior. This is from their perspective only. What I would do if it was me is I would remember them and write them down. Because if it bothers them that much that they answered you to tell you, perhaps we need to pay some attention to this area of our lives and we need to adjust. There is nothing wrong, 100% of nothing wrong adjusting for your spouse. If they're not asking you something unreasonable, they're not asking you to do something that's against your standards, your morals, or any of those types of things, there is nothing wrong with adjusting. Marriages have ebbs and flows. Marriages have highs and lows. Marriages have when he's gonna and when it's all the same, but we need to adjust. I'm on every night at 9, Aunt Fran. Every night, 9 p.m. Eastern. Because it's the day I can be most consistent, if that makes any sense. Okay. All right. That's it, you guys. I'm done. We're under an hour. Go Shakima. Yup. So here's the thing. Ask your spouse to tell you 3 things that cause him or her to be uncomfortable and irritated with you. Don't judge them. Don't attack them. Don't make excuses. Just say, thank you so much for telling me. That's the response. Thank you so much for telling me. They're going to be like, you don't want to discuss it? No, I'm good. I just wanted to know. I just wanted to know. Yep, I'm good. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Even if you got to leave the room because you feeling the type of way, do not show them that you are feeling a type of way. Just take that information and then do something with it. Take that information and write it down and see if there's any validity to it. Because it might be, but it is for them. It's their perspective, it's how they see it. Anywho, don't forget to check it off when you're done and then write down your reflection. Thank you all so much for stopping by. If you don't mind, like the video, share, subscribe. You guys, Aunt Fran, am I clear? Can you hear me clearly? Because last night's video seemed a little bit, the audio wasn't good. So if y'all can hear me clearly, will somebody just let me know? I should have asked earlier just to check. But here's the thing. Y'all, give this some effort. Give it some fidelity. I promise you it's going to pay off in the long run. Join me tomorrow night as we recap day number 5. And we're going over day number 6. Love is not irritable. Day number 6 is an acceptance day. Love is not irritable. I love you guys so much. There's nothing you can do about it. Like, share, subscribe, follow, do all the things. And we'll see you guys next time.